In this lesson, we'll be using soft effects to match our clips with a grade. Okay, so to add a soft effect to a clip, you're going to want to grab the clip by selecting it and left-clicking it. Then you'll right-click that clip, go to Effects, and you'll choose Grade in this case. So these are all the soft effects that we have access to. And in this case, we want to use a grade. So we'll choose Grade, and I'm just going to kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to come up here to sequence 1 because that's what I want to be viewing, not any of these other viewers. Okay, so sequence 1, this is the colors we're looking at to create our grade. So this clip, I'm actually really happy with the coloring of it, but I just want to make a few small changes. So what I'm going to do is kind of just push the contrast a little bit by selecting my black point. So we'll just color pick that. And let's go in right about here. This looks like a good place to choose black pixels from. And I'm just control clicking around in here to pick a good pixel, or I can hold Control and Shift to select a range of pixels. You can see how that affects the black point. So that's a pretty good range of pixels to choose a black point. And then same thing for the white point. We've got a good little section of white pixels within this clip. If we kind of back up a little bit here and come in right there, we've got some nice white pixels. So I'm going to hold Control and Shift, and you can see how that kind of changes the coloring we have here. Now, to disable a grade as a soft effect, it's the same as if you were disabling a grade node in a Nuke script. So you can simply select that grade and hit the D key, and you can see this really brightened this up. Now, I don't love how yellow this made everything look, so maybe I can come in here and begin to edit that, maybe cool that back down a little bit by pulling this. You can see pulling that down. It's going to cool that white point slightly. So that looks a little bit better. And once I'm happy with the way that the grade looks, then I can begin to add grades that are going to match my footage. So now this looks a little bit more pink maybe than this clip. So let's begin trying to grade this clip to match this clip. Now, to do that, I'm going to select my clip and add a grade node by right-clicking and adding that grade soft effect. And then I'm also going to open up some tools that are helpful for me. So if I go to Window, I'm going to choose my vector scope. Okay, and you can pull this tab over here and maybe kind of rearrange things so that you get a better look. And here I'm able to see the two different bits of color information I have for these two shots. So they're pretty similar already, so that's good. You can see that I can also see what the cell phone clip looks like, and it's actually quite a bit different. So what I want to do is push this clip to be closer in the look of the vector scope as this clip. So what I'm going to do is kind of an interesting way that we have to be able to work here in Nuke Studio. So just to kind of work a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is actually overlap these two clips. So I'm going to pull this up and over, and then we'll fix that here in a moment. And then I'm going to come up to this area right here where I can set the way that I want this viewer to look. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to choose a wipe. And what that's going to allow me to do is to see more than one clip at a time. So I have my sequence A, which that's what is showing through here. So that's just going to show all tracks. So what I want to do is show video 1 on the A pipe, and then on the B, I'm going to show video 2. And now you can see I could see both of those as well as both of their vector scopes. So that's going to become a lot easier for me now to match these two bits. So you can see, again, I want to match this one to look closer to this. So what I can do is just open up those black and white points and begin working to push that to look a little bit closer to what I have in my other shot. And you can see this maybe actually looks a little bit more blue in that black point than maybe what we're going for. So we can maybe pull that up just a little there and maybe push that a little bit closer to the green. And those are starting to really look like they fit together much, much better. So then I can just change this back to none and change this to all tracks. And you can see that those clips match just a little bit better now. Now you can play around with that and get the grade looking differently if you would like to grade yours differently than the way I've done mine. But that's just kind of a quick look at how you can do that. We can do the same thing now with the cell phone clip. So I'm just going to select both of these again and pull that up into video 2, kind of overlap those. And then we'll just come in here and choose video 1 for this one. Go to wipe and then choose video 2 for the second one. And actually, this is a little bit harder to see because this part of the footage is so light. So let's switch that where we're looking at video 2 on the left and video 1 on the right. So now we have a little bit more information to work with here. And then I'm just going to add my grade effect by right-clicking the cell phone footage, going to Effects and choosing Grade. And then I can do the same process to try to match those vector scopes a little bit more closely. So you can see that's a little bit more close. You can also go in and change other things like the lift, or maybe if you want to work with the gain instead, maybe pulling that up a little bit and turning the lift down might give you a slightly more desirable effect. Okay, so now you can see that this, just focusing on those vector scopes, is a little bit more objective way of being able to match two clips in their grade rather than just trying to eyeball it. So that's a little bit easier way of viewing color information within an image. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to switch this back, go back to all tracks, and we're going to pull this down back into position here. Just like that. And we can delete video 2 because we don't need to look at that anymore. And we can get rid of our vector scope just so we have a little bit more room. I'm just going to pull that over and kind of rearrange my workspace there. Great. So those clips are working a little bit better together now. And I may tweak them a slight amount between lessons. So let's come back in our next lesson. We'll be finished with the grading, and we're going to move on towards beginning to work with annotations. And that is another really amazing feature that we haven't had in Nuke before. And it's a new feature in Nuke Studio. And it's a great way for VFX supervisors or just different people within the pipeline to be able to communicate with other people in the pipeline and tell them what needs to happen. So we're going to be creating some annotations to give some direction for some of the VFX that need to be added into our shots. And throughout the course, we'll be kind of working with annotations to be able to record different elements and make our changes as we work, just so that we can kind of simulate what it would be like working with other people in a pipeline like this. So stick around, and in the next lesson, we'll be getting started with annotations.